Welcome to Raw Radio.
Gary, let me do this Shawn Williams style.
Oh, yeah.
We
sure.
are live.
Doesn't hold a candle.
No, damn it.
Nope.
I was trying to be as cool as he is. Listen, that was a great episode.
Yes, it was. Shawn Williams is amazing.
First of all, I was on the floor for like half of it.
Yeah,
What
he
a
spent a lot of
funny
time on the
dude.
floor. He was super funny and super personable. Great storyteller, and he's got great stories. I mean, where he came from, who he came up with, really, really amazing. And check it out if you haven't already. Listen to that episode.
I absolutely encourage you. One, entertaining dude. There's, dozens of little gems all throughout the episodes. Wisdom, just sharing. He's sharing his wisdoms all over, everywhere about training, how to be a good leader, how to be a great training partner, how to make it fun, the obstacles and challenges of jiu-jitsu and so on. I mean, there's so many things that we touched on during the episodes. Honestly, I didn't even know where to anchor this takeaway. Like it was hard. First of all, he was so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And,
It's sometimes we get somebody who wants to stay on a certain topic, or it keeps coming back to that topic no matter what. But today it was kind of all over the place, but in a very good way. But you did say one word in there in your description, and that was leadership. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, it is difficult to be in front of a large group of people and stimulate them in such a way that somebody takes away something from the class. And now if you have to do this daily for a living every single day, you really have to show a certain personality. You have to be approachable. You have to be funny. And the entire time we were talking to Shawn, I felt like I've known the guy for 2 decades. I felt like I've known him for so long. We've been BFFs. Like it's from personal family topics to serious conversations. We almost were singing Baby Shark on the friggin' episode.
It was getting close to that. I didn't want to be the one to first start. So, yeah, but it was getting close to that.
Maybe we should put that in the background after post edit. But anyway, it's such a personable person, but he talks about that not being the first thing that when he was starting to teach, when he's starting his instructor journey, it all kind of in a way rubbed off from Renzo Gracie.
Right. So this is Shawn tells the story. I'll do a super quick recap, but he's looking for someplace to train BJJ. He's already been striking arts for a long time. And he meets Renzo and is like, this is it. This is where I'm going to train. And he didn't meet him on the mat, right? He had an initial meeting with him and was like, yep, this is the place for me. This is the guy for me, because of Renzo's personality. And, then he's there. He's not leaving, and ends up getting his black belt from Renzo. Why? What qualities did Renzo have that kept him there, right? And rubbed off. And now Shawn is carrying those through as he teaches others and is running multiple academies himself.
Yeah, and I think as you were talking about this, I'm thinking about this whole leadership subject, and obviously the students have a certain expectation of the instructor, whoever's on the mat, who's showing and engaging into these motions that we do on the mat through concepts and techniques. And I think that's kind of expected of the instructor to take on that leadership role. But at the same time, I think what's often not talked about is that students take on the leadership role within the class as well.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to be an instructor. You don't have to be a black belt to be a leader. And I think that's the important part.
Mhm.
And I think it's so easy for our personalities really to in a sense come out on the mat and be very approachable, be very friendly, be very helpful. And you might have, you might be on the beginning of your journey, and you might be at the, deeper into the journey. None of this changes the fact that at some point somebody will be looking up to you.
Yeah.
Once I, like I often share this story or this thought in my from my past, but like somebody told me a while back is when you walk into the room full of jiu-jitsu people, and you do this for very very first time, you look up at the highest belt, and you scan the room, you look up at the highest belt, and you know who the highest belts are. But
Hmm.
what you will likely do is you will go and sit down next to the belt that's lowest.
Oh, for sure.
And so
You.
why does that
Yep.
happen, right? This is a kind of important psychological thing, because you don't want to be sitting up next to the highest belt, even there's nothing wrong with that. But it very likely we gravitate towards somebody who's our level, somebody who is in
Hmm.
the same experience as we are. And if this is our first day, we want to be talking to the guy who's experiencing the same thing as we are experiencing. So where does this bring me? That a point that at any given time, or at some point during your jiu-jitsu journey, somebody will be looking up to you, and it's really up to
Hmm.
you to be a leader. And all it takes sometimes is a smile, pat on the back, hey, good work,
Handshake. Yeah.
handshake. It's just these little things, because a leader is not somebody who will do things for you. A leader is somebody who will clear the path and allow you to walk the path so you can go through the discovery process by yourself.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's somebody that gives you a helping hand. But I also think that like a professor leads by example. He sets the tone, so, or sets the stage for the class.
Mhm.
And after several classes of doing that, and the more experience and the more he does it, the students take on that responsibility as well for the newer students, for the lower belts, right? And you'll always have the people who, for some reason, don't want to do that, or some people that aren't good at it. But, um, I love when we have new students here and they walk in and everybody welcomes them, and they get set up with somebody who's just a little bit more experienced. I don't see often that it's like, okay, here's this guy that's never trained before, grab the brown belt that's next to you, and, as the professor would do, and send them over. No, you hook them up with like a higher ranking white belt or maybe a blue belt or something, so that they're, you know you are, like you said, you're seeking your own level. They're going to feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Hopefully that person's engaging, and it just keeps filtering down the same way Henzo filtered down to Shawn, and now Shawn is filtering it down to his students, his instructors, and it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, it's so interesting how we take on these we learn these habits and skills from people who showed us leadership. And I've had handful of those in my life, and I do appreciate them a lot, and without them I would not be who I am today. And honestly, there's plenty of leaders in my life right now today who are not black belts. They're just people in my life and that I look up to, and I really find the things that they do well, and I try to improve myself. This kind of goes to show that no matter what rank in jiu-jitsu you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what position you hold in a corporate America, you can always, actually I'm going to rephrase, you should always continue learning, because there's something to be learned from somebody else, always, all the time, you know.
Yeah, I think if you feel that no one can show you anything, you're probably not a very good leader
Hmm.
yourself. Um, everybody has something to offer if you spend enough time with them, and you get to know them a little bit.
Hmm.
And I think that, yeah, probably if you are somebody who stands up in front of nobody likes to know it all. So if you stand up in front of the class, or if you stand up in front of a staff meeting or in a conference room, and you give off that persona, I don't think you're going to get a lot of people following you. And essentially that's what a leader does, is they bring people along with them,
Hmm.
right? Follow me.
Hmm.
And you know I think it's really, really important to keep an open mind and think that there are things that I can keep learning from others.
Yeah, and I think there's one more important thing that Shawn talked about briefly. We talked about it, and that's remembering names. I think remembering somebody's name, as stupid as it is, I think is
Hmm.
one of the most important thing. This is where the connection begins,
Yeah.
right? And like at our academy, we take a lot of pride in this. I try to
Hmm.
know every
Yeah.
single student,
I'm
literally.
I'm going to hopefully I'm not going to spoil it for you though. So
What?
if you're one of Thomas's students and he's like, hey champ,
That does not mean I don't know your name. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now.
hey chief, how you doing?
I,
What's up, pal, buddy? uh,
Sean blew my cover. No,
no,
listen,
well,
I use that in a very different strategy aspect. I do know I take a
mhm,
lot of actually time to actually learn everybody's name.
yeah,
Believe it or
yeah, it's
not,
important.
and it's difficult, especially if sometimes you don't engage in the classes. Obviously in the larger academies, you can't, as an instructor, you can't teach every single
Yeah,
class, so sometimes it's hard. But
right,
believe it or not, I actually try to learn everybody. I
sure.
try to meet everybody. I try to engage with everybody. And even in our kids classes, one of the big things we always say, shake
You
your partner's
gotta,
hand,
yeah,
tell them what your name is. If
yeah,
you don't know what
yeah.
the name is, you need to know it, right? It's
Right,
important.
right. Yeah, yeah. And also when we have like a new instructor, one of the things we do is tell them, you got to go around to every kid, like, you know, it's your first class,
Hmm.
learn 3 kids' names.
Hmm.
It's your second class, learn 3 more.
Hmm.
You know, one of the benefits we have here is we have a big television screen with everybody checked in, and you can kind of, if you need to, you got a cheat sheet over there.
Well, but that's
But
part of the strategies to make your life easier, right?
right, yeah, for sure. But when you call that kid out by name in a positive manner, they're going to look to you for leadership. And if you don't know their name, and if you're not interested in who they are, they're going to know it.
Hmm.
Kids are smart, they're intuitive, um, and they're not going to want to follow you down that path in class. So it's very important.
The bottom line, I think, the conversation from with Shawn Williams, summarizing all of this is that you don't need to be a black belt to be a leader, at least in my eyes. Even the white belts on the mat could be a leader, showing a leadership skills, showing leadership characteristics towards the other
Yes.
students. Doesn't You don't even have to show the characteristics to the lower belt students, the lower ranking students. Rank is a representation of our skill and our time on the mat, but it's not the representation of the leadership. I think that's where your actions, this is where
Yes.
what you do, how you carry yourself, and who you are really is more important. So,
Yes. And I got a quick story.
yes,
And it's
about
funny
me.
because no,
Oh,
no, it's about a true leader.
okay.
Sorry. It is about somebody who at the time of this recording, it is their birthday. So I wasn't expecting on doing this, but we're going to shout out to Professor Eric Butler. And I've told this story before. Professor comes out of the locker room. It's the first seminar I was ever at where he was attending here at the academy. Came out of the locker room, black belt tied, and he walked around the mat and
Mhm.
shook everyone's hand and introduced himself to every single student. That is a leader. And it
Yep.
made a huge, gigantic impression on me. I probably got a couple years on Eric. But that's leadership right there. And like I said, made a giant impression on me. And I know it made an impression on everybody else. He didn't walk out with his black belt and walk over to the other black belts. He made his way there by introducing himself to everyone else on the mat first. So that to me is
Eric is
leadership.
definitely a great guy. I mean, you want to hear a story how I started jiu-jitsu, talk to Eric, or listen to one of the previous
Mhm.
episodes that we had here.
And
But
ask him to do his impression of Thomas as he's telling the story.
okay, and this is where the show is ending.
No,
Yeah,
come
we wrapping
on.
this up. Take care, Gary.
All right. But yeah, definitely. I mean, true leadership is you lead, for me anyway, you lead by example. And when you set an example like that, or the other things we've talked about today, that is how you become a leader. Otherwise, I don't know. I think you're just up there bullshitting people and they'll figure it out eventually.
I agree.
All right. Let's end it there on a swear word.
This show is
All
going
right.
places. Anyway,
All
don't
right, sir.
forget to drop your name on our website to enter the Fuji giveaway. That's important. 2 of them already went out.
Yes.
There's plenty more coming. By the time this show is airing, we'll be getting close to the next giveaway. So make sure that you drop your name. Take advantage of these things. I don't know about you. I have tons of geese, and I still would like free Fuji gi. They make some decent products. They're pretty awesome geese. So therawradio.com. All the details are there.
Definitely. Who doesn't want a free gi, and they're super high quality things. So definitely do it. All right, sir.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.